What's up? Jared Wihongi, Protector Symposium 4.0, changing the game. I would start by saying paradigm shifting. Like the dude, first and foremost, he's a cool guy. Like he's a salty the earth guy. He's got the cool accent. Comes in, gives his presentation on Friday. A shout out to Funker Tactical, Aperture Fight Focused, Paulo and the boys for coming out and supporting us during this event. Tremendous impact. If you're having an event and you want someone to come to that event who can really help in so many ways, kind of boost the quality of your event and the reach and a number of different things. I mean, I shouldn't even be telling you this. I should just take advantage of it. But reach out to Paulo, Funker Tactical. Definitely a force multiplier. So anyways, Jared Wihongi dropped mad knowledge on us, man. Basically, take everything you think you know about gunfighting and essentially add more angles to it. You know, as I keep learning different kind of systems, if you call it that, disciplines, tactics, when it comes to gunfighting, this game is incredibly fluid. Like this whole standing on the range, you know, shooting straight, shooting, and then and not incorporating movement and not incorporating athleticism and, you know, just shooting at targets is really, guys, I need you to get this. It is it is the basement, okay? It is ground zero. It is square one. Learn marksmanship. But once you learn marksmanship, you've got to get out and you've got to start moving and you've got to learn angles and different firing positions. Isosceles and the Weaver, like that was the 80s, man. There is so much more we can do with our firearms and really understanding combatives and understanding how to survive these engagements. And Jared Wihongi just basically ripped our minds open and really showed us. Like, I will never look at getting into a gunfight the same way ever again.
One thing we're going to do now is if I'm going to quickly move one direction or another, right? It's hard from a standing start. It slows things down to just kind of turn and move. That's kind of a relatively slow process. Athletically, if I want to move quickly to my left, I'm going to push with my right leg. It's going to look something like this. Oftentimes in different types of sports, they call this a juke. Okay? I'm a little bit depressed today because New Zealand just lost by 1 point to South Africa in rugby yesterday. So, but rugby, we call it a sidestep in rugby, okay?
I'm seeing different angles. I'm seeing different firing stances and platforms. Just adding the element of athleticism to a gunfight, increasing the athleticism and movement and angles in a gunfight. These are ridiculously powerful tactics and tools that you can actually dump into the altercation to make yourself so much harder to kill and so much better at locating, closing with, and destroying your enemy. So Jared gave a presentation on Friday where he dug into all things having to do with that, you know, talking about weathering the ambush and talking about how you can still survive that ambush even if the enemy gets the first few rounds off on you if you do some things very specific to his discipline and what he was really teaching. The people who listened to Jared during this presentation definitely got information that leveled them up, and this is why you need to go to protectornation.com and download the replay so you can also have access to that information, especially if you're a professional protector, first responder, but also if you're a civilian, because you never know when you're going to need this stuff. But understanding how to weather the ambush, understanding how athleticism really is such a value add and a tool we can leverage in order to be more effective at defending ourselves or utilizing the tool of violence in order to save lives. It was so powerful and so amazing. So his presentation on Friday, he brought in real world situations. You got to see how the tactics he's teaching you actually apply out there in the real world in a number of scenarios where the good guy wins. And you'd see these scenarios where, wow, the reason this guy survived, even though he got ambushed, even though the enemy got to pick the time, the place, the weapon, and kick off the attack, the good guy still was able to win the altercation because he applied these different principles and techniques and tactics. So the information was invaluable, life-saving. And you know, Jared's pedigree, he's essentially like a sensei in a Filipino knife fighting style. He's, you know, got SWAT, you know, he did some contracting overseas. He's been around the block, he's been in the game. He's got a pretty cool knife company, man. They make some awesome knives. He sent me an amazing push dagger that's literally on my kit now. And I'm just really impressed with what's come out of his camp. So then, you know, naturally Saturday and Sunday, you know, we learn the theory, we learn the soft skills on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, it's time to go on ahead, whip it on and see if this stuff works, right? So we started out in the field, and it's just like everything you think you know about marksmanship, put it on pause real quick, because we're literally going to show you how to take things to the next level. All this standing in the same place and shooting and stuff that we do for hours on the range, it really is child's play. You know what I mean? Like it really is where everything begins, man. But it's really not. I mean, if you really start looking at shootouts and you look at gunfights and you look at firefights, there's a place for that. But movement is life, and the quality of your movement. Do you understand how to move, where to move, what angles to take, different firing platforms, how to shoot while you're moving on different trajectories and different angles.
Train how you fight. That saves your life. All right, let's do it. Change your habits, change your life.
It takes gunfighting and moves it from a one-dimensional plane, like a horizontal axis. It like takes it and turns it up to where now you can see all these different things that you can do. Dang near in 360 degrees, how you can actually fire your weapon effectively in 360 degrees all the way around you on the move. And honestly, man, it literally was like learning to see through the Matrix. You know what I mean? So he expanded our paradigms with regards to gunfighting in ways that honestly you can't unsee what you've seen. I will never be the same. I'll never look at gunfighting the same way. And for that, man, I just have to say thank you. Thank you, Jared, for coming out and hammering it. I love what you're teaching out there. I literally want to have you come out and teach my teams out here in California. We'll talk about that. Obviously, me and him are talking about that. But anyone who's running a program, anyone who has a training budget, he travels all over the world and teaches elite fighting forces.
You could be ready to draw, but what we're simulating here is a threat that presents itself and you're not expecting. Exactly. Yep. The value of this drill is a reactive drill, and I'm reacting to a visual stimulus. And so as we begin the drill, I don't want the good guy of the drill to turn around and immediately be drawing and shooting people, because that's not what we're trying to train out here. What we're trying to bring out is, okay, I turn, I've got multiple people, potential threats, and when I actually visualize that there is a threat, that's my cue to start drawing out, and it becomes more of a reactive drill than a proactive drill, which there's a time and place for things, but here this is a threat that's a surprise and a counter ambush type of tactic.
He is a serious value add and a force multiplier when it comes to, I mean, we've all got the same type of training, you know, the square range training, and what he's bringing to the game is nuanced, it's fresh, it makes perfect sense. It's simple, right? Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and it is effective. And by the time you leave the range, and we only spent 4 hours with him, by the time you leave the range, you'll really understand a whole lot more. And we didn't just work the angles, we did a number of different takeaways and disarms, and learned how to work close and fire in close work. You know, if you find yourself in an entangled combative type situation, how to get to your blade, we did a little bit of blade work, we did a little bit of, you know, the in-close gun work, and we worked the angles, and we worked the movement. So it was really a total package, and I couldn't have been more pleased. I was really, really impressed with his performance, man. So Jared Wihongi, man, my hat's off to you. Much respect. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it, go to protectornation.com, download the replay, and learn a little bit of this stuff, because you do not want to be behind the power curve. Because what we're learning on the range, this formal stuff that we keep learning, yeah, that's all cool and great, but when you watch real world shootouts, how many gangsters are doing that stuff? These situations are extremely dynamic. They're fast moving, they're athletic. You need to understand the rest of the gunfighting game. This is a martial arts, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake. So this is Byron Rogers, protector by nature and by trade, making the world a safer place by helping good people become more dangerous. Shout out to Paulo, Funker Tactical, Aperture Sight Focus, and Jared Wihongi and the boys over there for really putting down some awesome stuff for this last Protector Symposium 4.0. So many more awesome things to come. I'll see y'all out there in the field, on the battlefield, on the training field, and on the next piece of content. Go download the replay. Out.